move it along. Now, the East-West Shrine Bowl, we went with the other NFL draft analyst. I can't remember his name on NFL.com that works with Daniel Jeremiah because he was kind of covering the East-West Shrine Bowl. We got that taken care of. That makes sense, though, man.
It does, because like I'm looking at my chart from the Senior Bowl, and the kid from Louisville looked better to me. Tyler Shaw, is that his name? Shaw.
Yep, and we got him way down the list here. Yep.
Yeah, so if you want to, talk about quarterbacks, the only other ones I had high marks on were, of course, Jalen Milroe, and then Hennigan out of Memphis looked pretty good too. So it's like, this is take your pick. You're either going to deal with the politics or you're going to deal with, guys like us that trust our gut, right? We're trusting who we, lean on for expertise, and then our own eyes when it comes to the tape. So, I did not have Dylan Gabriel getting any bonus points for sure after the Senior Bowl. But that's just me. What do I know?
Right. And again, I just want to run through these because it's another voice, but I want to make it clear it's not influencing our board at all, okay? Next position, running back. They said Trevor Etienne out of Georgia, okay? Etienne especially excelled in receiving drills during the Senior Bowl, routinely getting open against linebackers. That should be no surprise considering he was the third among SEC tailbacks since 2023 with 447 yards after the catch. So Trevor Etienne seemed to impress down there. I'm going to try to sort my board again and see exactly where we have him at as we've got the positions pulled up. Trevor Etienne. And I want to say he's related to the other Etienne that's actually in the league right now.
I was going to say, is that his brother?
I don't know if it's his brother. I'm pretty sure somebody in the chat should know. Do you guys know, is he related to the Etienne at I think he's down in Jacksonville, if I remember correctly. If you guys could help us out on that. And we have him, it looks like significantly lower, maybe. Trevor Etienne. Where's he on our board? Holy cow. Yeah, so we've got him 137.3. He's like the 10, roughly 15th best running back in the draft. So that's interesting. And in terms of a Senior Bowl bonus, we did not give him a bonus. So Daniel Jeremiah didn't mention him specifically. So
I'm giving a running back a bonus from the Senior Bowl. It's going to be Ollie Gordon out of Oklahoma State. I liked him, and I liked RJ Harvey out of UCF. But Trevor Etienne, though, I mean, you can't. Film doesn't lie, right? Say what you want. Tape doesn't lie, but 1 or 2 reps in the Senior Bowl is not going to be an indicator of what you're going to do in the NFL. So I think it's worth keeping a look at a lot of these guys. But being a Packer fan, I don't think running back is on the radar for us right now.
Right. I don't either. I really don't. M. Smitty said, yes, it is his brother. So did Drew. So they are brothers. So Ollie Gordon, you mentioned him out of Oklahoma State, right?
Yeah. Ollie Gordon. Yep.
Yeah. I've got him 3 spots higher than Trevor Etienne.
Okay.
So that's where he's at.
There we go.
All right. Moving along. Wide receiver. They're saying Tez Johnson popped. And we did talk about him a little early in the week. It's just his size, that size factor, right? But Tez Johnson out of Oregon, wide receiver, we have him as the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th best receiver in this draft. Okay. He has a grade of, I'm really pushing this computer to the limit tonight, man.
83.1 on PFF.
Okay. And we have him as a grade of 72.2. So usually what you can do, guys, is kind of look at the grade and think, okay, they're almost worthy of being around that pick at least because of the grade in which how we factor in the grade. So if I had to guess, I'd say definitely no earlier than a 2nd round pick, possibly a 3rd round pick.
Yeah,
but we'll see. So there's Tez Johnson.
Definitely a slot guy for sure, slot guy. But one of the strong suits is he's able to create separation pretty well. Especially against press and stuff like that. But definitely a little undersized and definitely pretty much a slot guy.
All right, another player that PFF said shined at the Senior Bowl was Elijah Arroyo out of Miami, tight end. Okay,
yes.
We have Elijah Arroyo as the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th best tight end with a 66.7 grade. We did give him a Senior Bowl bonus. That's one. So you're seeing PFF talk about him. We heard Daniel Jeremiah brag on him. That's a player that when that happens, that's when you go, okay, that dude's a real deal, right? At least at the Senior Bowl, he had a great week. So,
did you have any other tight ends that caught your eye? Because I had 3, and Arroyo was definitely one of them.
I'm trying to think. There was one at the Senior Bowl. I think it was Fannin, if I remember. Remember, we were watching the game, and Fannin, they had him
Bowling
playing.
Green, baby.
Yeah, they had him playing both Y and U from time to time, and they would have him sift over on a boot, catch the ball underneath. And the thing that I came away from the Senior Bowl with Fannin thinking is that dude can play U, and he could probably even play some H-back. He can go into the backfield and kind of give you that fullback almost look out of Bowling Green. And
might be an upgrade over our boy, Musgrave.
Right. And the Packers did meet with Harold Fannin Jr., so maybe they seen the same thing, like, hey, that's a dude that might be that Josiah DeGuara, what Josiah DeGuara wasn't for us. But when it comes to Harold Fannin Jr., Tim, he was the 68th graded tight end in 22. He was the top graded tight end in 23. He was the top graded tight end in 24, albeit at Bowling Green. There's a little bit of a pipeline there, obviously, with Carl Brooks as well. So keep an eye on him.
Yep. The third one I had a good grade on, just from the Senior Bowl, not overall, is Dupree out of Bama. I don't know if you CJ Dupree. He's probably a little bit lower on the board. He could be a late round kind of value pick at tight end. 6'5", 262, kind of a big boy. I thought he looked good in the Senior Bowl too. Just put a little star next to his name.
What was his name again, Tim?
CJ Dupree, Dippre, out of Bama.
CJ Dupree out of Bama. We don't have him on the board.
Okay.
This is what I'm talking about, man. We need to get him on the board.
He caught my eye a little bit. I'm not saying, he's that dude or anything, but
spell that last name for me one more time. I'm so sorry, man.
Dippre.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Dippe.
Yep. CJ Dupree out of Bama. PFF's got him at 60.6, 149th overall tight end.
How did we not have him? That's interesting. Unless he's listed at a different position, or it's not showing.
Or it's a spelling error.
Could be.
It's in as Dupree, like DU. Like,
we'll look him up. We need to make sure.
Dippre. So I would check out CJ Dupree. Again, nothing like super exciting, but a guy that I think could be like late round value or mid to late round values. Be interesting to see what Shavinks thinks about him too, because he's probably got a beat on some of these tight ends. But I thought he looked pretty good on tape after the game yesterday.
Nice. In the chat, Fred McFarley says, "What is a U tight end, Clayton?" Okay, so let me try to explain this without a screen visualization. When you hear Y, okay, Y is a traditional tight end. Y is that guy that'll play attached. He'll play on the line of scrimmage. He might play slightly off. You can flex him out as well. Your traditional Y is like your big body tight end, okay? Typically in Matt LaFleur's offense, or this style of offense, you've got a Y and then you've got a U. The U will do more of the sifting. The U will do more of the playing off or playing that wing type position, right? Like right behind the tackle. They can flex out wide too, don't get me wrong. And what we're finding in the NFL, just like the safety position, at the tight end position, these guys need to be more and more interchangeable every year that goes along. So when we say Y, think Tucker Kraft. Yep. When we say U, think Ben Sims. Think, in my opinion, Musgrave doesn't really fit a U. What Musgrave fits is a Y flex, which is a Y that plays wide receiver. So let me break it down for you. Musgrave is more of a wide receiver than he is a tight end.
Musgrave stayed on his feet.
That's right, Coach. So Tucker is a traditional tight end. You is a guy that needs to be able to block more than a pass catcher. But the way Matt loves to run in and work in boot plays, he'll run bootleg leaks where he'll do a wide zone boot right, not so much this year because we've pressed into duo and more gap scheme, but he'll fake right, boot left, that guy will chip and the U will just leak out, right? Like, also think back to the play where Ben Sims got loose. It was one of his, I think it was his top play of the year. He got loose on kind of a leak wheel up the sideline. That he was playing you on that play. I remember specifically. And typically a U isn't doing that type of thing. Now,
Right.
if you let's go back a few years. You guys remember when Deshaun Watson, the creeper, was in Houston, allegedly, was in Houston, and Billy Teapot, right? Billy O'Brien was the head coach. He referred to his tight ends as F and U. So his Y was an F. And they said it was more of a joke that F-U, ha, ha, ha. They just kind of named them that. Now, people were referring to Musgrave as, man, that guy can be an F. That guy can be an F. And I'm going, these people don't know what the hell they're talking about, because in Matt LaFleur's offense, he's got what you call an F receiver. Now, here's the thing. A tight end can play F too, but the F or the flyer in Matt LaFleur's offense, and this is according to my boy Bobby Peters, who wrote a book this thick on the Packers offense, right? The flyer or the F is typically Jaden Reed. And the reason you call him a flyer is because he may line up in the slot but end up in the Z. He may line up in the Z and end up in the slot. Well, which one do you call him? Do you wait until the end of the play or to the beginning of the play when the motion's over before the ball's snapped? And now he's going to be the slot. He's going to start in Z and end in slot. They refer to that motion guy with the jet sweeps and things as the F. So that's why in Matt LaFleur's offense, it's referred to as a Y as your traditional tight end and a U. And it's not the only offense that it's like that. It's just that's how I identify the tight ends in Matt LaFleur's offense based off the books I've read. I'm sure there's people listening to my voice right now that completely disagrees, and that's okay. We can argue for days on who's right and who's wrong. That's what I refer to as a U tight end. More of that guy that's going to be able to line up in the backfield from time to time too. We traditionally call those guys H-backs, right? Well, if he's a tight end, he's not really a back, but he's playing back, right? Well, you can call him an H-back. When we say H-back, we think fullback, right? That's what we're thinking of. So, and there's some offenses that refer to the fullback as the F, not in this one, because it's not a predominant 21 personnel, type team. So anyway, that's the U is that guy that's going to block more than catch the ball. And he's going to play a little off the line. He's going to move around a little bit, as where the F is that dude. Line him up next to the right tackle or the left tackle if you want to go strong left. Block somebody's ass into oblivion, right? Now, there's some cases you'll have the Y on the line of scrimmage, and the U will be off the line of scrimmage right next to the Y too. So essentially it's tight end number 2 in Matt LaFleur's offense. That's the U. I could have said that at the beginning and saved us all a lot of time. But hopefully that all makes sense.
I think that was a good explanation.
Fred said, I'm just going to say thanks for the explanation so Clayton shut the hell up. There you go. We're good. We got it. So.
He was the best guy around.
All right, next player. Offensive tackle Anthony Belton out of NC State. I have not heard this name, Tim. Have you heard him mentioned all week?
Negative.
So let's see where we got him on our board. Anthony Belton, where are you, sir? Yeah, we've got him as the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, roughly the 15th or 16th best tackle.
State, 6'6", 336.
Woo!
He's a hoss. He's a big hog molly. Pure tackle, though, right? I don't think he's going to play interior.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
That's probably why he's a little lower on most people's boards, too. A guy that improved, though, right, Tim? In 22, 246 best tackle. In 23, he was 212th. In 24, he was 101st. So he got better every year, according to PFF. The PFF big board had him at 187. The consensus big board had him in the top 100, coming in at 99. And Daniel Jeremiah did not have him in the top 50, but the 33rd team in Kyle Krabs had him in number 97 spot. So Anthony Belton, a guy that could be a top 100 prospect. We've got him a little lower than that, though, I think with a 113 grade. So he's going to be significantly lower.
Interesting to see that take too, because I kind of saw that too. I thought he did pretty good against Mike Green, and we've talked about Mike Green more than once on this pod. So certainly someone to keep an eye on, man. This kid out of NC State,
yes,
the
sir.
Wolfpack.
United Bates says, I always think of the U as utility. Works for me. That's a great way of looking at it. It really is, Bates. That's essentially what they are, right? But then when I started seeing Ben Sims run that wheel and a couple other things, I'm going, I'll be damned. They're kind of using them both as a Y, but you've got to identify which one's which. But yeah, you probably is, why they refer to him as you as a utility tight end. It makes sense. It really does. So, AFM in the chat says, pay your utilities. By the way, man, it is hilarious watching people in our region complain about their power bill, Tim. We got ours. Guess what my electricity bill was this month, man?
What's that?
Just take a guess.
I don't know, like $100,
Higher.
150,
Higher.
250.
Take it on up, Tim. Higher.
Holy cow! How many bedrooms you got, man?
We got 4.
Okay, so like three and a quarter.
We cracked the 500 mark.
Holy cow, man! It must be that NASA computer you got running up there.
It probably is. It probably is. Me and Mandy are constantly fighting. I want it to be about 40 degrees in the house because I run hot.
And she wants it 97 degrees in the house.
Always freezing to death. Yeah. So, yeah. AFAMs, he's going to start a GoFundMe for me to get my electricity bill paid here. Appreciate you, AFAM. He says, wowzers. So, yeah. Look, Drew D's got it figured out. 2-bedroom apartment right next to Lambeau Field, $40 for electricity, sir.
Get ready to go.
That's what I'm talking about. Too old for this. Clayton went over on his anytime minutes.
Fred McFarley, you mining Bitcoin over there, Clayton?
It's the best line of the night. Don't tell me.
If you were, you wouldn't be paying for your power bill. Bitcoin would have covered it.
You got that right. Let's keep it moving before the feds knock on the door here. Right out back, you're going to hear.
How dare you?
Interior offensive lineman, no surprise, Gray Zabel, North Dakota State. Tim, we've talked about him all week. We won't spend a whole lot of time here, man. That dude, dog all week long.
Yep.
He's
another Zach Tom, Melton Jenkins kind of guy, right? Stick
really
him anywhere on that offensive line, he'll do just fine.
Yeah, definitely. Drew D says that's the problem, Tim. Bitcoin is way down. Tim, we are well aware that Bitcoin is down, are we not, sir?
Yeah, that's why you shut the hell up and buy the dip.
I love it. Yeah, Drew's like, man, it's down. Yeah, that's how you. Tim, I'm just going to full disclosure. Private chat earlier with the guys. Tim said, Clayton, take a look at that crypto today. And what I send you back, Tim, a gif of Forrest Gump running, didn't I? When I'm on it. So, anyway, you guys invest responsibly. Don't take any.
That's right. This is not financial advice.
Don't take anything for it. They're going, you kidding me? We hear your accent. We're not taking finance. You got a $500 electricity bill. We ain't taking any advice from you. All right, interior defender Darius Alexander. I love that they picked Darius Alexander over like your Walter Nolans and guys like that, right? This says a lot, man. There's multiple people. Darius Alexander keeps getting mentioned, so obviously that's a guy that stirred the pot there at the Senior Bowl. And again, Darius
Toledo, man.
Yeah, Toledo on the map now, right? Quinyon Mitchell, and now you got Darius Alexander soaring up boards. We have Darius Alexander as the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13th best defensive lineman. We have them in this order. We've got Mason Graham out of Michigan, Kenneth Grant out of Michigan, Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss, Derek Harmon out of Oregon, Tyleek Williams out of Ohio State, TJ Sanders out of South Carolina, Alfred Collins out of Texas, Jordan Birch out of Oregon, Ioannis Peebles out of Virginia Tech, Vernon Broughton, I think is how you name Broughton, defensive lineman out of Texas, CJ West out of Indiana, Darius Alexander out of Toledo. And then it's
Deion Walker out of Kentucky.
I was going to say, I'm trying to get to it. Omar Norman Lott, then Jamari Caldwell out of Oregon, and then Deion Walker out of Kentucky. And right below Deion Walker, you got Thor Griffith. Now, when it comes to defensive tackles that the Packers have met with, to the best of my knowledge, we've got this up to date, I believe. And shout out to Easton Butler, who's putting together a spreadsheet for everybody. So we'll be able to go back and kind of confirm everything and add others in. The Packers have met with Kenneth Grant out of Michigan. They've met with Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss, Ioannis Peebles out of Virginia Tech, and CJ West out of Indiana, along with Jordan Phillips out of Maryland, Nazir Stackhouse out of Georgia, Cam Horsley out of Boston College, one of obviously Hafley's guys, Peyton Page out of Clemson, Joseph Evans out of UTSA, Chuck Smith out of Villanova, Phil Blidi, Blidi, however you say that, out of Auburn. Then you got Sean Balcom out of Delaware Valley. The point there, guys, is out of all the positions, defensive tackle is probably where the Packers have spent the most time. Defensive tackle and cornerback. is where they visited with the most players so far this offseason. So
We
that's
got Ty Robinson on our board,
what position?
D tackle.
D-line. Yep,
Yeah,
we got
D-line.
him. Yep, we got him, and he's got a grade of 121.3. And again, I can't sort it by overall right now, but as far as D tackles, he's roughly 1, 2, 3. I've got him 2 spots below Deion Walker is where I've got him, Tim.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah, PFF 2022, 764, 23, 729, and then jumped in 24 to 125. Big improvement there. He was 203 on PFF's big board. He was 121 with the consensus big board. And then he was 93rd on the 33rd team big board, which is Kyle Crabb. So,
Nice.
yeah, interesting. All right, moving along. Next player, edge defender Shamar Stewart. This is interesting because, of course, we mentioned Daniel Jeremiah actually mocked Shamar Stewart to us at 23. Now, Kyle Crabbs in his mock 1.0 had him going number 9 to the Saints. So the fact that Kyle Crabbs sees him as a top 10 pick and Daniel Jeremiah gave him to us at 23 tells me the hype is real around Shamar Stewart. Not saying he's going to be a great player, but very smart football minds believe he's going to be really, really good, Tim. Shamar Stewart on our board is the 5th best edge defender. We've got Abdul Carter out of Penn State, James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee, Mike Green out of Marshall, Mikael Williams out of Georgia, Shamar Stewart out of Texas A&M in that order there. So
I'm with you there. I keep going back and forth between him and Jack Sawyer. Like I'm trying to figure out who I like better. I got edge on my list of film study this week, so it'll be fun to watch some Shamar Stewart tape and Jack Sawyer and there was the other one, Landon Jackson out of Arkansas. We got him on the board as well.
Landon Jackson, we actually have him as the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think the 7th best edge defender. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And Jack Sawyer has dropped on our board now. The reason being, Daniel Jeremiah had him as his 40th best prospect. That didn't hurt too much, but Kyle Crabb had him at 75, so that dropped him down significantly on our board. He now has a grade of 45.4, and before I want to say it was in the 30s if I remember correctly, so it did drop down a little bit. And again, the board's not finished, but Jack Sawyer kind of coming back down to earth a little bit on our board after everything. Moving along, linebacker Jack Kaiser. This makes me so happy.
Here's the guy.
It's a long shot that he ends up a Packer just because of the measurables, but I'm so excited to see that dude get drafted, man. He's a leader. You guys know I'm a big Notre Dame fan. He was the captain of that defense. That dude was just him and Xavier Watts, he's a safety in this draft this year. Just whoever drafts him, they're going to get 2 players that are just 110% committed, man. Notre Dame is one of those schools that the academics are at the forefront. You're not going to skate by off academics. You got to be all in on the university, all in on making sure you graduate, all those things that they take very, very serious. It's a no BS type of place. It's not a football vocational school. It really isn't. So when you get these guys that can make it at Notre Dame and then make it to the NFL, you usually got a pretty good combination of someone who's a smart football player, a committed football player, and they can hold their own. Think of Kyle Hamilton, right, with Baltimore. Yep. That's who comes to mind.
And think of the lineage of the Packers and the Notre Dame Irish.
That's what I love.
The history between these teams, it goes back to the beginning. So, It's always good mojo. The vibes are good when you draft a guy from Notre Dame in Green Bay, for sure.
Yeah, and it's the only reason I'm a Notre Dame fan, guys. I grew up liking the Kentucky Wildcats, growing up in Kentucky. I moved to Knoxville when I was, as soon as I graduated high school, I pieced out and went away from our town and just buried myself in the city of Knoxville where nobody knew me and just hid for a little bit. It was kind of the deal. And it was when I became a Packer fan down there, and then I learned Curly Lambeau went to Notre Dame. Then I got a DVD set on Notre Dame. I fell in love. That's why I'm a Notre Dame fan, is because of Curly Lambeau and the Green Bay Packers. So it is so cool. I'm glad you mentioned that, Tim, that when players like Paul Hornung obviously played at Notre Dame, right, ends up going to the Packers. When we traded for Deshaun Kaiser, I got so excited, man.
Oh, God, I remember that.
And that was he a train wreck or what? It was just so.
But we were fired up. We're like, go Irish.
You know me. I was like, this is the guy who's going to take over. He's going to be the future if Aaron doesn't work out. What the hell am I talking about?
He was the best guy around.
Oh, he was not. So Jack Kaiser, where does he fall on our linebacker board? He is our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th, 6th, 7th best linebacker in the draft. Okay. PFF grading 23. He was the 4th highest graded linebacker. He dropped to 56 this year. He did get a Senior Bowl bonus from Daniel Jeremiah. So the fact that PFF acknowledges him, actually, it wasn't from Daniel Jeremiah. He was voted the top linebacker by his peers, is what it was on practice that week. So that's one of the reasons why he got the bonus there. So our linebackers go in this order, Tim. We got Jahad Campbell out of Alabama as our top linebacker. Then we got Carson Schweisinger as our second best linebacker. Demetrius Knight Jr. as our third. Chris Paul Jr. fourth. Jay Higgins, fifth out of Iowa. Danny Stutson out of Oklahoma. And then Jack Kaiser. Then behind them, we've got Jalen Walker out of Indiana. Now, keep in mind the other linebacker out of Georgia, we went ahead and moved him to edge defender. And everybody's different on this, but we went ahead and moved, what's his name? Jalen Walker with an O. It's hilarious. Jalen Walker, we moved him to edge defender, and he now has a grade of 36.1. It looked like Daniel Jeremiah had him listed as an edge, and I think Kyle Krabs had him listed as an edge as well, so I just went ahead and shifted to that side. And it sounds like he could potentially be a top 10 pick. So, there's more value in edge than there is linebacker. So anything you want to add to the linebacker talk there?
Yeah. Who the hell's going to coach him? That's all my mind's on right now since we lost Coach Camp. Who's going to be the promotion or who's going to, be in for an interview. It'll be interesting to see how things shake up, with our linebacker coach.
Yeah, it is, man.
Hopefully they don't bring Joe Barry back to coach linebackers.
I don't think that's going to happen, Tim. I could be wrong. But could you imagine if they announced that Joe Barry was our linebacker coach?
Don't put that name in my mouth right there.
I would not be surprised if Packer fans embraced it. We're like, yeah, he actually is a good linebacker coach. That would just crack me up after everybody was raking him over the coals. Let's do a poll question right now. Do you guys approve of Joe Barry being the linebacker coach? Let's don't do that. Cornerback, Dorian Strong out of Virginia Tech. So that was a name that kind of popped here. Let's see where we have him in our cornerback rankings. Dorian Strong, pretty far down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Roughly 17th best corner, Tim. We got him right above Upton Stout out of Western Kentucky and right below Jacob Parrish in about the 17 spot there. So
it makes sense. I think Stout might be a better corner, but the size is really gonna kill him in the draft. Dorian Strong's a little bit taller, 6'1", 185,
There you go. So Dorian Strong seemed to pop. They said one-on-one drills are inherently designed to favor the wide receivers over defensive backs, but Strong still showed some flashes of brilliance. He does an excellent job in press man coverage, which is unsurprising considering how he performed with the Hokies since 2023. His 87.0 grade in single coverage is in the 96th percentile among FBS corners.
Hello.
So, yeah, PFF very, very high on him, obviously. So
we got Fred McFarley checking in with the linebacker coach. He said he'd rather we hire Chuck Berry.
Chuck Berry, hey boy. Hearing AJ Hawk and Pat McAfee joke about him, boys. If you don't know, pray to sweet baby Jesus. Thank sweet baby Jesus. You don't know why they're always joking about him. Lord have mercy. Anyway, Chuck in the chat says, question of the night, Pizza Hut or Domino's? This is what I'm talking about. Take a break.
In the 90s, it's Pizza Hut. Today, it's Domino's.
This is the way I answer this question, Chuck. And people are going, oh, God, Clayton's already taking it too serious. That's how my mind works. So it's like, if you could only pick one for the rest of your life, is it Pizza Hut or Domino's? Domino's recently, Tim, have upped their game.
Yeah.
Big times. With the, what is it? They done some things with different products where they put like Parmesan baked into the crust on the outside of like these, they had like a buffalo chicken thing that was really good. It was like basically like a cheese knot with buffalo chicken. It was really good.
Yep.
But for me, man, I'm just telling you right now, Pizza Hut stuffed crust pizza is my jam. I can't say no to it. Like if it's in the house, if it's in the house, I'm protecting that like Rasheed Walker on the blind side, bro. There ain't nobody getting that stuffed crust pizza. That is mine. We'll probably do that when we're in Green Bay at least one night. I'll have a stuffed crust pizza up there, man. And I'll sleep with it. It'll be on my chest in the bed. Making sure Emilio don't get it. So, what about you, man? Pizza Hut or Domino's?
I'm just trying to find that picture of you cuddling up with your stuffed crust pizza. I thought we had that photo somewhere, didn't we?
No. Oh no.
Where was that?
I figured you were talking about this one right here, man. That's
no,
what I look like.
That's you making the order. This is you snuggling up with it.
I ain't in there. I ain't grinding on the box, Tim. Give me a break. Jeez, Pete. Yeah, for me, it's Pizza Hut, though. Tim, you didn't answer.
I did. I said if it was the 1990s, I'd say Pizza Hut. But
it's not the 90s.
But it's not the 90s, so I got to go with Domino's. I think Domino's has got the edge right now. But I don't, to be honest, I don't eat either of those very often. I like the homemade or the deli fresh pizza or one of the local haunts here in Green Bay. We got some good tavern style, Wisconsin style pizza that I like.
I'm trying to think of what the place was. We went and had a Chicago style pizza in Green Bay back in like 2005. They're probably not open anymore. I love Chicago style pizza. I think I'm in the minority with this, but I want that thing to weigh 8 pounds. You know what I mean? Like I just you know what I'm talking about? Just thick, full of just cheese and meat, sauce on top. Are you a big Chicago style or no, man?
No, I can't. If I got to use a fork and a knife, I can't do it.
It ain't pizza, it's pie. Yeah. What are we talking about here?
Thick.
All right. Last position. We return to our normally scheduled program here. Safety Billy Bowman Jr. Don't remember hearing this name. Let's see where we got him amongst the safeties. Billy Bowman Jr. So we got Malachi Starks 1, Xavier Watts 2, Nick Emenware out of South Carolina 3, Andrew Makuba 4, and Kevin Winston Jr. 5th. So we got Billy Bowman 6, 7, 8, 9th. He's in the 9 spot, Tim, out of Oklahoma. And he was at the Senior Bowl, obviously. 124.3 grade on him. So probably middle of the draft, I would imagine, is where you kind of expect him. They're saying day 3 pick, so probably closer to the 5th or 6th round. What do you think about safety here? Anybody pop to you, and you got anything to add here to Billy?
I'll tell you what, Billy Bowman Jr., that's an Oklahoma name right there if I ever heard one. Love that, man. I don't know if he's going to sell me a cattle trailer or if he's going to play some slot corner for us. But, no, 5'10", 200, right? Played a great deal in the slot. I mean, he might be, like Prince is saying here, that's a pretty small safety, but, he could pop in the slot and provide depth. Like I've said before that, we talk about corner being a need, which I think it is for sure. We may be able to find one of those guys as a slot and being a safety, a convert, kind of like we did with Bullard. Yeah,
I can see that too. Yeah, like you said, he is small, 5'9", right? 5'9", 198. Drew D said a lot of interceptions were more opportunistic than actually making a play. And I'm glad you made that, that specification there, Drew, because it's important to understand that. Like, if a quarterback just throws the ball right to the DB, they didn't do nothing special. I want to know that, because you'll look at the interception numbers and go, man, he had a great year. But then you look at Xavier McKinney's interceptions this year, Tim, him baiting them and getting back and then playing a too high, playing the deep half in a cover 2 defense and getting between the hashes to pick the ball off is just, those are you go, whoa, real deal. But if he's just sitting back there and he gets, a couple picks in one game, it looks like he had a great game and the quarterback just had a brain fart and threw it right to him. That's a little bit different,
So true. So true.
All right. So I think that's it, man. We got them all. So again, those are just kind of some of the players that PFF thought had a good week there at the Senior Bowl. And we're at the hour 14-minute mark. Tim, is there anything else you want to hit on before we wrap up here, man? Anything at all on the forefront of your mind? Anything you want to talk about moving forward? Maybe a prospect or a position group we haven't hit on. I can put the board back up here for us too.
Jaden Higgins is the man. That's all. That's all I got to say. Nothing new.
Let's take a quick look at the wide receivers since you brought it up. We'll end with this. We got Tatero McMillan as the top receiver with a 13.6 grade. Then Emeka Egbuka at Ohio State with a 30.1. Luther Burden with a 31.7. So those two, Egbuka and Burden, are in the same tier. Then it drops off significantly to Matthew Golden at a 43. Trey Harris with a 43. So him and Matthew Golden have the same exact grade. That's interesting, seeing that there's like 8 qualifiers in this. Xavier Restrepo is right behind Trey Harris with a 55.9. Then we got Jaden Higgins with a 60.4. Here's what's interesting. All those receivers we just read off, the top receiver on our board that the Packers met with is Jaden Higgins. Then they met with Jalen Royals, which you said you like Jalen Royals as well, right?
Yep.
And then we got Jalen Noel out of Iowa State. So it's pretty cool that Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel are both kind of on the Packers' radar right now. That's really, really interesting. So
I really like Noel. Like
Mhm.
I've always said, I'm not a fan of the sub 6 foot tall receivers, but I like Luther Burden out of Mizzou. He's good too for a guy under 6 feet. And then, of course, Restrepo is, he played pretty well. He's another, shorter tier kind of receiver, or not shorter tier, but shorter in stature. But yeah, I'm fully psyched that the Packers have Higgins on the radar. And yeah, Jalen Royals out of Utah State is someone that I think, we cannot afford to sleep on. And I'm glad the Pack is keeping an eye on him for sure.
Yeah, I just love the fact that we were watching the Senior Bowl live, and the first touchdown score was Jaden Higgins on a halfback pass. I was like, of course it was Jaden Higgins. We talked about him all week. So he scored.
And wasn't it Ollie Gordon that threw him?
I think it might have been. I can't remember. It might have been. Yeah. So yeah, Jaden Higgins, 86th and 22. Then he jumps to 28th and 23. Then he jumps all the way to 4th this year. These are PFF grade rankings for the wide receiver position. Then the PFF big board had him at 54, right? The consensus big board had him at 81. So if you took those two numbers, you'd say, probably in the 70 range is his spot, right? If you average those out. Daniel Jeremiah has him outside of the top 50. We don't know how far outside of the top 50. He may be 51, but Kyle Kraft has him in the 79 spot. Now, him having a 60.4 grade, obviously, I feel like if you're going to take Jaden Higgins, if you're the Packers, you're probably going to take him in the second round. That's the spot. I don't see him being a first-round pick.
Neither do I.
Second. And then when you look up, Tim, you go, man, there's precedent. Goody and the Packers, they've made a killing. They made a living off of taking receivers in the second round. Think about all the great receivers they took in the second round.
Yep.
Like Devontae Adams, right? Jordy Nelson. Was Greg Jennings? I think Greg Jennings might have been.
Jennings was a second round too, wasn't he?
He was. I think he might have been. Could be wrong. Randall Cobb was he a first or a second? I think he was a first. Let's see here. Randall Cobb. Man, that feels like a lifetime ago. Randall Cobb, draft pick. Randall Cobb was
third?
Round 2. 64.
Second. So another second round. There you go.
Pick 64. He was the last pick of the second round. Now, what a steal that was. Pretty much a third round pick there with the 64th pick. And I'm
with you though, Clay. He's probably not going first round. At least I hope he's not, because there's no way we're taking a receiver in the first round. And I don't think he makes it to the third round. So it's like you got to pull the trigger in the second round if you're serious about him.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yep.
All right, man. Let's wrap it up here with a comment. Chris N says, Clayton and Tim, I want to thank you guys for always being here with excellent content. The off season is hard, and it's a real escape from the everyday trials and tribulations. So appreciate it. Chris, thank you, man. I say this all the time when people post something like that, or they send us a message on email or text or in the Patreon group. Please, I mean this from the bottom of my heart, man. You guys are the most important part of what we do. Like, again, we wanted to create a show where it's the Packer fans show, where we come together as fans and try to filter out the knuckleheads, get the people out of here that just want to complain, rant, rave, constantly just bitch and moan, all that stuff. And let's get the fans together that want to truly try to understand the game. Not that we understand it enough to teach it or any we're going to learn together. We're all going to go to the tape. We're going to watch the tape. We're going to go through the draft process where we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So far, we got a 10-step qualifier for our draft board. And there's going to be 3 more elements at it. So it's going to end up being a 13-step draft board, essentially, right? We do all this to try to understand the game at a little bit different level. And the fact that you guys are interested in contributing, whether it's in the Patreon group with the questions, whether it's in here with the regular chat or the super chats, whatever, like, you guys make this thing go round, man. And we appreciate y'all way more than you know. So thank you for the kind words, though. It's always awkward responding to something like that, because it's like if you acknowledge it, you're going, yeah, we're doing good. Please don't take it that way. I just want you to know We
Yep.
appreciate y'all more than you know. So,
We appreciate the appreciation.
Yeah.
Definitely.
absolutely. And again, I'm so bad at that stuff. Horrible at it. I'm the guy that if I get a compliment, I'm just like, get the hell away from me. I don't want to talk. Like, let's talk about something else. It just, I'm really, Mandy gets on me about it all the time. So, and 2-0 for this sums it up. He says, we can all agree on one thing here. This show sucks. Completely agree. So, with that being said, guys, we're out. We will be back tomorrow morning. Good morning, Lambo. If Tim's available, he'll be in here with me. If not, I'll be flying solo. Who knows? Jacob may slide in here too. It depends on how late he's out dancing tonight. We'll see.
I don't know. I think he's got the late shift at the Oval tonight.
I
So
think he does. I love that we're referring to it as the Oval now. It's just absolutely awesome. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I see all the comments. Thank you guys so much. You're awesome. We really appreciate you. We'll see you in the morning. Good morning, Lambo. Again, David James, reach out to me. Shoot me a text, 865-658-5824. We need to get you that autographed Dorsey Levens jersey. Again, man, you guys are awesome. Appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Everybody have a great night. Y'all stay warm.
And we go.
Bye, guys.